Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of the TV show The Night Of. Now, if you're somebody who frequents my channel, you'll know that the majority of the time my reviews focus on movies, but I do occasionally look at some TV shows, and I watched The Night Of recently, and it was definitely one that I thought was worthy of speaking about. If you're like me and you became a huge fan of the Serial podcast and the kind of rise in shows looking at real crimes like that, like Making a Murderer on Netflix. This show is definitely going to be one that I think will appeal to you. Now, it is not based off of a true story. It is a fiction, but it's very, very well done, and I absolutely loved it. It's got John Turturro, who's an actor who I've always loved, doing like The Big Lebowski and Rounders and all kinds of other movies. Barton Fink. I mean, come on, Barton Fink. As the kids on The Simpsons always chanted, not always, but that one time. An actor by the name of Riz Ahmed, who I didn't really know too much about before I saw him in Rogue One, and I thought he was great in that, and I thought he was amazing in this. His character growth from the beginning to the end was just amazing to see. Basically, this movie focuses on the character played by Riz Ahmed named Naz, who is involved with a woman one night stand, and wakes up and she's been killed. And as a result, obviously, that is something that's not going to be great for him, and he ends up being brought in by the police, and he gets put in prison and put on trial for her murder. But as viewers of the show, we have it from his perspective, and we know that he woke up and found her dead and wasn't involved. But as viewers of the show as well, we can totally understand. Like we go into the process of, we see the guy who's defending him, we see the woman who's prosecuting him, and we see what the police are going through, and it's completely understandable why the police focused in on him. But at the same time, we can also see that they're focusing on him but unfortunately ignoring any other possible leads. So it very much plays into a lot of the themes that you saw in those entities that I mentioned earlier, like Serial and Making a Murderer. But it's also fictionalized, and it's very, very, very effective. You see a lot of his time in prison, and to see the growth that his character goes through, and also how he becomes more and more corrupted as time goes on in prison. And like by the time he's standing trial at the end, like he looks like a guy that you would assume might be profiled as being a criminal. And at the beginning, he's just this unassuming character, and to see how he's kind of almost forced to go through that transition in order to have a life in prison that's not completely ruled by fear is very, very interesting. I also really enjoy that there are a few two actors from The Wire that are in this. Michael K. Williams, the guy who played Omar Little on The Wire, is in this, and he plays a fellow prisoner, and he is always been one of my favorite actors. He's just such a charismatic guy, and just so great at really embodying the characters that he plays. And I'm trying to think of the other actor's name, but he played like in the Wire. He played one of the guys who was like one of the street level dealers. Yeah, he played Bodie on The Wire, and his name is J.D. Williams, as you can probably tell. I was looking it up because I didn't want to do that without saying it. He's not in the show, the Night Of, all that much, but he plays his character to perfection. He was also known for being on Oz for quite a long time as well, and he's a great actor who is very, very adept at playing roles similar to the one that he plays here. But the two roles that really drive this show, I should say, is like I mentioned, Riz Ahmed as Nas, and John Turturro as one of his defense lawyers, John Stone, who has all these character elements that you have never necessarily seen, where he's dealing with all these like skin issues and all that kind of stuff that have nothing to do with the case, but kind of show him in these situations where people are kind of looking at him because like by the end his whole face is completely blotchy, and he looks like somebody that people would want to kind of stay away from for fear of catching whatever he has, and that kind of really epitomizes his outsiders feeling, like the energy that he has as somebody that nobody takes seriously and everybody kind of wants to keep their distance from. Really makes it so you feel like he is in a very kind of almost similar situation where he's not in prison, but he's kind of imprisoned by his health situation. And it really makes the whole show very fascinating to see as like I said, Nas delves deeper and deeper into the criminal world inside the prison, while John on the outside is delving deeper and deeper into making attempts to try to fix his skin issues that are just making things worse and worse, and just to see as they both kind of just get deeper and deeper, and where they go as a result is just really, really fascinating. And there isn't a single character in this show that to me came off as feeling like they wouldn't possibly exist in real life. And like the first episode of this show to me was incredibly compelling, because it's the episode where like the murder happens, and also where Nas first gets kind of pushed into the limelight as the number one person that the police are looking at as being responsible, and to see how that happens is done in such a unique and fascinating way, because he first becomes involved with the police under completely different circumstances before, and to see the moment where it becomes crystallized that, hey, well, we got a potential perpetrator here, is very, very well done, and it really speaks to the quality of storytelling throughout. And like the show gets into all kinds of levels of what the effect of this it has on like the community, on Nas's parents, who are forced to really liquidate almost everything they own in order to pay for his defense. The police officer, who is the guy who's in charge of investigating it. Like it really, really shows all sides of this situation. And it even some of the family members of the victim end up being you end up getting a pretty decent view of what's going on with their lives, and it really speaks to the very concise but also broad storytelling that you see here, because they don't wallow in any of the situations that this brings about, but they give fair time to all of them, and it is just such a expertly written show, and I think it's amazing. I'd love, assuming it gets released on Blu-ray one day, I'd love to have it, because it's definitely a show that I feel like I'm going to want to watch again somewhere down the line, because I thought it was that good. Definitely like one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, and I really hope that more people check it out, because I haven't heard too much about it, and I think it deserves all the credit in the world. I know it was nominated for some Grammys this last weekend, but didn't win any of them, and that's a shame, because man, it was awesome. So that's those are my thoughts on the night of. If you've seen it, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you liked it as much as I did. If you didn't like it, like what about it you didn't like? If it just didn't grab you for any reason, or if there were specific things that you had issues with, please hit that like button. It does marvelous things for my channels. Makes YouTube put my content in front of more people, which I absolutely love, because I love getting new subscribers. Speaking of which, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. I love being able to talk to people about the things that matter to me, like from a content point of view, and from like toys that I get, pop vitals and stuff like that. And if you're new to this channel, I would love to have the opportunity to continue to talk to you about movies, documentaries, the whole nine. It really means the world to me. So every time I see my subscriber count go up, and especially when I have active subscribers who I see interacting with my videos on a semi-regular basis. It just means the world to me that there are people out there who seem to actually care what I think about the various things that I watch, and I really sincerely hope that I can add you to that list. So other than that, have yourself a nice day.